Welcome back everyone to the Audacious Witch channel where we talk about the magic behind the stock market. Jeremy from Financial Education, he put 100 grand into Planet 13 stock and he's now down, wait for it, $85,000, like $85,000 just gone. And if you're watching this thinking, oh my God, Jeremy put $100,000 into a speculative sector, I should totally do that too. Whoa, hold up, Buttercup. $100,000 is life-changing money for most people. But I get why he did it. If this sector fully legalizes, we're talking 100x returns, 100,000 times 100. That's $10 million, 10 Ferraris for Jeremy. That's the dream, right? But let's be super clear. This is speculative trading, not investing. Warren Buffett would not approve. It's the ultimate super risk, super reward. Now that we've got that disclaimer out of the way, let's dive deep into the real reason why cannabis stocks like Planet 13 and my own Trulieve are getting absolutely hammered. Because what everyone thinks is causing the problem. The government shutdown myth buster. The short answer you're probably hearing is government shutdown, duh. And yeah, it makes sense, right? If government officials aren't getting paid, they're not exactly going to be hustling to reschedule cannabis. They're not entrepreneurs building a business before they get paid. They need the paycheck before they lift a finger. We're talking about the third largest government shutdown in history, day 18 and counting. And while this is happening, rescheduling cannabis feels like a pipe dream. But here's the thing. This is where everyone is getting it wrong. This is the myth everyone is falling for, and it's why they're panic selling. The U.S. government shut down on October 1st, halting funding for non-essential operations. This has put a pause on some cannabis-related legislation efforts, like fixing the 2018 Farm Bill loophole that's flooding the market with intoxicating hemp-derived THC products. Active congressional negotiation not happening during a shutdown. However, President Trump's potential announcement on rescheduling cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substances Act, that, my friends, is unaffected by the shutdown because it's not a congressional action. It is an executive branch action, and here's why this can and likely will proceed regardless. Rescheduling is handled by the DEA via administrative rulemaking. That falls squarely under presidential authority. Trump can direct the DEA to finalize and announce this change at any time now without needing Congress to appropriate funds or pass legislation. This process has been underway since the Biden administration's initial proposal, and Trump has publicly signaled his support, teasing a decision in the next few weeks, as early as late September. Now, when he says a few weeks, he also said cannabis subject is very early, so don't get your hopes too high for an immediate announcement. It could still be next year, but the point is the shutdown doesn't impact core executive functions. Essential White House and agency operations continue uninterrupted. Lobbyists and insiders, they're confirming this has no meaningful impact on this specific move. Trump can act unilaterally at any time. So there you have it. Pop the myth bubble. The government shutdown is not stalling cannabis rescheduling. Trump could still drop this bomb potentially as early as mid-November, like November 11th. If it happens, it could send Planet 13, Trulieve, and all MSOS stocks absolutely soaring. Imagine access to safe banking without waiting for Congress. But if it's not the government shutdown, then what the hell is actually stopping Jeremy from recouping his $85,000 loss and all our MSOS cannabis stocks from mooning? Buckle up, because the real villains are much, much bigger. The three villains: big tobacco, big alcohol, big pharma, and the hemp loophole war. Because, besties, we are in a war, and the enemy is a three-headed serpent. One with a cigarette, one with a beer bottle, one with a pill bottle. The real enemies. This is where it gets spicy. I'm telling you, the same flipping people who are shorting MSOS, Trulieve, and Planet 13 stocks and manipulating cannabis equities are somehow connected to the entire hemp fraud operation. They're flooding every state with illicit weed under the loophole of the 2018 Farm Bill. Think about it. Big tobacco, alcohol, they fund vape shops, gas stations to sell illicit THCA flower they sold in vape shops. Gas stations pay no tax. Here's their battle plan. Attack number 1. They short the legal companies. They drive the stock price down so companies like Planet 13 can't raise money in the capital markets. Attack number 2. They destroy their sales. How? By exploiting the 2018 Farm Bill loophole. They're profiting on both sides. Let's be clear, THCA flower is a legal weed. It's labeled as hemp to get around the law. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and they pay zero taxes on it. They're undercutting legitimate state legal companies selling regulated weed, which paid outrageous 280E taxes to the government, which takes like 70% of their profit, and they have to compete with the black market that's being run out of legit-looking storefronts. They're rigging the capital markets. There is absolutely a coordinated effort to destroy the state legal cannabis regulatory framework. The evidence is clear. This is why alcohol companies are carving out hemp THC drinks. They can't compete in the state-regulated, license cap markets that require THC products to be sold in dispensaries. They don't have the supply chain, the retail points of sale, and for 7 years straight, their lobbyists have ensured that Congress ignores the synthetic and illicit THC being sold as 2018 Farm Bill hemp. 7 years. Big tobacco and big alcohol are paying people in Congress to stop the legal Mary Jane market. They're shorting all the weed stocks so these companies can raise capital. If this continues, these amazing multi-state operators are going to be bankrupt. And then guess what? Big tobacco and big alcohol, the actual bad guys who cause cancer and drunk driving, they swoop in and buy all the legal weed companies, assets for pennies on the dollar. It's a hostile takeover in slow motion. Ever since Biden's tweet about MJ reform in October 2022, that was 3 years ago, the THCA flower popularity has gone through the roof in the US, and guess who's selling it illegally? The same people who sell cigarettes, tobacco, and vapes. Retail tobacco and nicotine products dealer licenses jumped right after Biden talked about reform. He said nobody should be jailed for small amounts of Mary Jane. It created this huge gray area. If the president says, you're fine, nobody's going to arrest you, right? So people think they can just get it wherever. All these vape shops are just buying tons of illegal THCA flower and selling it. They're just getting tobacco licenses and flat out flooding the market with cheap weed. They pay no taxes because it's all under the table. And thanks to the Biden tweets, nobody's getting arrested. Legal cannabis paying highest taxes versus illicit hemp THCA pay no taxes. Which side will grow faster? Of course, the illicit side growing faster. This is how Planet 13 is getting squeezed. They have to pay outrageous 280E taxes to the government. That's why Trulieve sales are flat. No more high double-digit revenue growth. Their revenue has been stuck at $300 million every quarter for a while. They're getting squeezed. The illicit market pays no taxes, pockets huge margins, and doesn't get arrested. They just sell it in their vape shops using the 2018 Farm Bill hemp loophole that sells whatever essentially illegal weed. Product label switching from hemp to weed with a sly wink. Yes, those gas stations, liquor stores, and vape shops are funded by big tobacco and big alcohol. They are the ones to blame. And the government? The longer they stall this process, the more their true nature shows. They don't care about patients, about veterans. Is it even about law and order, President Trump? But I'm sure he will get it done sooner rather than later. Alcohol kills, THC heals. We all know alcohol kills and harms millions of people. It can't even advertise to your children. I honestly think we should reschedule alcohol and reschedule THC. THC will never kill you. Alcohol can. Mary Jane helps people with stress, depression, and heals pain. But right now, it's been treated like the worst drug in the world. Now let's not forget villain number 3. Big Pharma. People can actually get off their pain pills if they have access to THC. I know so many people who've had cancer from tobacco. They're hooked on alcohol or they can't sleep without pills. Cannabis is natural from the ground, can help with all of this. Why would they want a natural plant that comes from the earth to heal people's pain, stress, and depression when they can sell you a lifetime subscription to their sleeping pills and painkillers? They are all in on this. The economic headwind and market crash scenario. So we've busted the government shutdown myth for rescheduling, but there's another risk for cannabis stocks right now. The economic fallout from the shutdown. While Trump's decision isn't affected, millions of government employees and military members are going without a paycheck in this crazy economy. Is it inflation or deflation? Depends on what you buy. Essentials like food, greedflation, and when people run out of money, they stop shopping for discretionary items, which can drive down prices elsewhere. Government employees with no paycheck have less spending power. You know why the stock market rallied on Friday? People took profits on their gold and silver and poured that money right back into AI stocks and the Magnificent Seven. They probably just bought the whole S&P 500. So the longer this government shutdown goes, it's 18 days now, but what if it lasts a month, 2 months, till the end of the year? Then we're looking at a potential 1929 depression. If the broader stock market falls because of a recession, it will drag our cannabis stocks down with it unless during that market crash, the Schedule 3 announcement is made. Then we will see a rally only in cannabis stocks against a falling broader market. We've actually seen that before, back in 2023. S&P 500 falling versus cannabis stocks rallying. That scenario isn't ideal because it means the true high potential for cannabis stocks isn't fully achieved because the overall market is fighting against it. It's not a smooth trend, but it could also give you more liquidity when you need it most, when the market has already tanked. My strategy and why I'm still buying. So with all that in mind, what am I doing with my Trulieve stock? And what about Jeremy's $85,000 loss on Planet 13? I still think Trulieve is a buy and Planet 13 is still a buy. Don't you want Jeremy to get his $85,000 back? I do. He put $100,000 in and $85,000 of it is currently gone. He has 100,000 shares of Planet 13. $85,000 could buy a brand new BMW Z4 M40i convertible, and he's down that much. The entire thesis for these companies hasn't changed. In fact, the pressure just makes the catalyst more important. The moment rescheduling happens, the 280E tax burden, the main thing killing these companies, is gone, vaporized overnight. The bigger picture here is the long game. The rescheduling will happen. The only question is when. This means real, sustainable profitability. They get access to safe banking. They can finally uplist to the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, which brings in all the big institutional money that's been forced to sit on the sidelines. That is the 100x potential. That is the $10 million dream. We're in a war against big tobacco, big alcohol, and big pharma. But the tide is turning. Trump's executive action is a huge bypass around Congress's inaction. Trump will get this done, even with the shutdown. He loves being the guy to make a deal and to be the hero. So what do you think? Will Trump reschedule cannabis this year? Maybe in November, or do you think he's going to save this October surprise for next year? Right before the 2026 midterm elections to get a last-minute boost or use it as a political chess piece. Let me know your theory in the comments right below. And if you're holding Planet 13 or Trulieve, tell me how you're feeling right now.